Hey guys, in today's session, we're going to talk about managing acute dysrhythmias, but in particular, supraventricular tachycardia. Now this micro lecture really is ideally situated in workshop 2, but it's really using the Australian Resuscitation Council Guideline 19, and anybody can access it anytime. So instead of us going through the entire guideline, which we won't have the time to do, you can do that in your own time. Once you've accessed it, let's scroll all the way to the bottom to have a look at the flow chart. So here we have the flow chart. Now I'm going to try and rotate this round. Here we go. There we go. Now let's start by reminding ourselves what a supraventricular tachycardia is. Supra means above, ventricular means the ventricles, and it's a tachycardia. So this is a ventricle, a tachycardic, a fast rhythm that is originating above the ventricles. So once you've identified that, and you'll learn this in your learning materials and at the workshops, this is how we manage it. So step 1 then, arrive on scene. Here's a case study for you guys. You're called to a private address for an elderly female who's complaining of feeling generally unwell and can't quite describe what the situation is. Now, just be mindful as well that SVTs are not just experienced by the elderly, but in fact, we sometimes have people at the workshops, the young people that come into the workshops with SVT. So there's different causes for it. So the first thing you would do is treat your whole patient. So do the airway, breathing, circulation. As it says here, support ABCs. That will always be the first thing you do in every patient. Give oxygen if there are signs of hypoxia. Monitor the ECG. So at some point you need to put on an ECG rhythm, as well as take another set of vital signs. Now in the previous lectures, we've talked about primary survey and secondary survey. So of course the blood pressure and the SpO2 can be mostly done in the secondary survey, but sometimes the things can mix depending on how much experience you've got. Then you record your 12-lead ECG where you will identify your SVT, identify and treat any reversible causes that you may see. For example, if there's any hypoxia, if there's any hypovolemia, you would always treat those things sooner rather than later because they're in primary survey. Now, coming down here then, you notice how it says, is the patient stable? Now, according to this guideline, the patient is not stable if they've got a reduced levels of consciousness, they've got chest pain, they've got a systolic blood pressure below 90, or they're demonstrating signs of heart failure. So if there's any one of those, then they're going down this side, but we're not going to talk about this side today. We're going to move down here. If the patient hasn't got any of these, then they're classed as stable. Then you look at the Qrs complex on the ECG. Is it narrow? If it is, you come down here. If it's not, if it's broad, you go down here. And again, we're not going to talk about this part here. If it's narrow and it's regular, in other words, is the distance in between the two intervals are regular, then you can use a vagal maneuver. And that's what we get into in this session. A vagal maneuver that we tend to use in the workshop is get yourself a large syringe, 50 mils, pull a little bit of air out, ask your patient, get your patient in a comfortable position, maybe laying in a semi-recumbent position, and get them to blow into it as hard as possible. And I've had patients in the past who have blown into the syringe, and I've seen the heart rate go from this down to this. But then as soon as they've stopped breathing into it, it's gone back fast again. And what you're doing is you're stimulating the 10th cranial nerve, which is the vagal nerve. Okay, so that's a micro lecture on supraventricular tachycardias. I hope you've enjoyed it. My name's Sam Willis. I look forward to speaking to you again shortly. Take care, guys.